the Echo GT-225 weed eater. There's a date on here, 7/29/11, right there. So I assume that this probably was the date that this person bought it, and so therefore everything on here must be old. Now there's a thing on here that this will crank, but it will not run for more than 2 seconds and it dies out. It does this all the time, even with a change of fuel. And I haven't done the tune-up yet. And the tune-up, actually the spark plug is good. The air filter does need to be replaced. But other than that, I would assume at this point that the carburetor is about the same age as this entire unit. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this. Alright, so as a disclaimer, this is not a tutorial video. This is not a how-to. This is just me simply troubleshooting and finding a problem and resolve it. So I'm taking the air filter cover off. You can see that the air filter is very dirty. So I'll be replacing it. Come across these screws, specialized screws. This right here is one of my drivers. I don't have a number on there, but what I'm told in the manual is that this is a T28. So just take it right off. All right, so got the screws off. Here's a carburetor. You have access to it. It comes off like nothing. It looks pretty good, you know. Looks are deceiving. It could still be good, but it'd probably be a good idea just to replace it, because after all, this person marked it as 2011 when they got this. So we'll just take this off and replace it with another one. All right, so to take the throttle cable off, you unscrew this, loosen it just a little bit, and then gently move this out of its place, and then turn this, and then remove the cable completely off. And there you go. Now I did have a little snafu here. This fuel line right here popped off. You can see it's really wide. It popped off and fuel started coming out like a geyser. So I have some fuel right here. So I'll be replacing this line as well. And to keep it from spitting more fuel out, I had to take this and release the pressure out. And that took care of it just fine. Alright, so this is the carburetor. I have no idea if this is the original, if it was replaced, but it doesn't work anymore. And it's made in China. But anyways, this is going to be gone. This is trash. And we'll get another one here. Alright, so here we have an aftermarket part for the carburetor. It does come with everything you need for a full tune-up kit. In addition to that, the carburetor itself. It looks nice. So, we got that. We have a spark plug to go with it, and a fuel line, and guess what? There's a fuel filter to go along with it. So, already pre-installed. Just gotta install everything back in. There's some gaskets, which it was missing a gasket, by the way, and then another air filter. So we'll be replacing all that. All right, so here's the old gasket. It's pretty dirty. It does have some flexibility. It could be reused. It could be. But I'm going to go ahead and replace it with the one that comes with the kit. And it lines up just the same, so should be no problem. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and try to remove this fuel lines, and hopefully that comes off without no problem. Like I said, the fuel lines are pretty old, and for it to start spewing fuel as soon as I took the carburetor off, that means that this is too loose. I don't care about the condition of this thing. I just want to take it out and get it replaced. I don't plan on saving this, so I'll have to disconnect. Well, let's see. Oh, here we go. We got it all out. So that's it. Fuel line, it's still pretty good. It's not hardened at all, brittle. You could just say, well, just replace that. Might as well just get rid of the whole thing since it comes with the kit. And be gentle with inserting this grommet in. This took a while to get this in there. You would think it'd be a little oversized and too big to go in that tiny hole. But you just got to get a wide screwdriver that's not too sharp in the end. It's a little fat and just kind of, it won't tear it up too much. Actually, it didn't tear it up when I did this, but I insert one end, the back end, and just kind of pushed in the rest of the grommet in with the screwdriver, with the flathead, and it was able to go in. Alright, so this is where the fuel line, the long fuel line makes a difference. So this has to be long enough to connect to this port right here. So it should fit with no problem. Alright, as you can see, I was able to get that fuel line in there and it fits perfectly. And there's enough distance that if I'm going to put this back on, there's a little bit of slack, just push it right back in there. Alright, now I got to put the gasket on here. Alright, there's the gasket, it's already in place. Now we just got to put the carburetor right back on. So it took a little bit of messing around with. I got the gasket in, this right there, and I got the carburetor portion on, and now I have this on here, the choke, and now I just got to tighten it. All right, so you don't have to tighten it too hard. Reinstall this cable back in. There we go. Now put this back in there. Well, it's a little bit wider than I remember on this new one. Just tighten it down. Alright, I tighten this down, just turn that way, and not a whole lot to it. Make sure it just stays on. Pull the throttle cable, make sure it has a good return back, and it works. So, alright, now put the new air filter into the housing, which is way over here somewhere. Alright, so this thing it's a little bit of a weird fit, so I have to put this on first to be able to put this air filter on. The air filter housing anyways. And then it should go in like nothing. Alright, that's it. New air filter, new air filter, new fuel line, new carburetor, and of course we got to replace this too. But other than that, $15. Well, actually it was $17. All right. We're good to go. See if we can get this thing to crank up. Prime the carburetor, push the bubble a few times until you get some fuel in there. Make sure you're on code start. I'll show you right here. Make sure you're on code start. The next thing you need to do is to make sure that this is on too. All right, let's see if it does it. There it goes. That's a good sign. Perfect. All right, so the person that owned this weed eater, they didn't take care of it. They did a poor job, and they used fuel that was mixed. With oil, 50-to-1 mix. At least they tried, but it was very dirty, nasty, and it had ethanol in it. So your best bet is to buy something like this: True Fuel, engineered fuel plus oil, 51 mix, and most of all, ethanol free. So go with this if you want to take care of your lawn products, you know, your lawn tools, equipment. I would go with this, ethanol free. It's a little up in price. I think it's like $24 at one time, and now I think it's $30. Still worth it though. All right, so my rating for this is 4.5. It has everything you need and it works. Immediately it works. All right, well, I appreciate it, and I'm done with this video. I'm done with this, and like I said, it's not a how-to or a tutorial. It's just me showing how to work with these things. All right, thank you very much.